Mr. Hunt, are you ready?
I was born ready. Thank you so much, and I also want to thank you all for being here. Greatly appreciate it. And sir, I was able to meet you and many of your colleagues earlier this year. We'll listen to your stories, listen to your sacrifices and what you've done, and how much we definitely need the National Medal of Honor Monument. We discussed this in depth, and this is something that our committee has control over. We could help you out with. You, sir, and also the brave patriots across this country and the consummate professionals that wish to educate all Americans, regardless of age, race, origin, or religion, about the values of this country and the importance of freedom that we have here and abroad, and what we're able to provide for others abroad is critical. That knowledge is critical. I'm not sure if you all know this, but I'm also a co-sponsor for legislation that makes July American Pride Month. And we take a day, every single day in the month of July, to talk about the values of this country, the history of this country, where we've come from and where we are. And not necessarily to lament on the past or the things that we haven't done right, for every single culture has a checkered and charted past. But we as a country, because of brave men like you, are why we get to call ourselves the land of the free and the home of the brave. And monuments like this can serve as a constant reminder as to why our future is bright, because of brave people that are willing to serve it. And also our posterity depends on the fact that we fight for these values every single day, and there is some kind of representation to understand that. I'm a West Point grad, and you walk around West Point all day, every day. There are monuments, and the buildings and the barracks are named after prominent people like MacArthur and like Eisenhower. And of course, there's General Patton, and General Patton's statue is placed in front of the library. And it's ironic because apparently he graduated last in his class, so he never spent a day in the library. And I also spent time in Robert E. Lee Barracks, the Confederate general that fought against the rights of people that looked like me. And I love the name of those barracks because it represents progress. And we're not defined by names on buildings, we are defined by our history. And what we can do is talk about the progress of then and where we are right now. So, sir, my question is for you. If you don't mind, could you mind explaining to the committee and those that are watching this hearing why Congress should get this monument done and why we should get it done now?
Sir, thank you for your service. A privilege to serve the country by your side. I say we as a nation, we have 65 living recipients left to the medal. Possibly 66 coming, with the president announcing a new one coming here soon. It's still not a lot, down considerably from our 400 that we had back from World War II. So it's critical now to get those stories out. You know, I can tell you one story is I was at an event just recently where another recipient, an Army recipient, was speaking from Vietnam. And I tell you, his comments, when I was listening to him, I felt inspired from him, listening to his comments. And I was like, wow. Right? Those stories, they're not lost on me, and they're still inspiring me. But soon we won't have those stories. Yeah. And we will need places where people can go, just like some of our monuments that you have on the mall now. But this isn't about war. This is about values. This is about tools to make decisions when decisions are hard to come by, and we all face them every day. That's what this monument is about, giving the people that will visit some tools to help them make decisions so we can further build upon our experiment. So we need it now.
As a military guy, every time I am encountered by gentlemen like you and the medal that you wear around your neck, for those that don't understand that, he's rare. He's rare in the history of this country. It's just a level of reverence that you've earned, and there's a level of reverence that we owe you. And I always talk about why we live in the greatest country in the world. And by the way, on our worst day, in spite of a lot of the strife and anguish that we might see, on our worst day, this is the greatest country in the world. If we cannot have monuments like this as a sort of reminder that in spite of all the fighting and the strife and a lot of the disagreements that happen right here in this room on a relatively regular basis, if we can't have a rallying cry to remember that this is exactly who we are and that's what this is about, then we got other problems. If we could spend billions of dollars in other countries, I can assure you that we can get this done as a reminder to those in the future just what the foundation of this country is all about, so we can actually have a future as an American. I am honored by your presence. I'm honored by your service, and thank you all so much for being here today. I really appreciate it.
Gentleman yields.